Hello. Once forgiven, now free. I am the Redneck Atheist 79. I apologize right off the bat. I know it's poor visual quality. It's just the camera that's in my laptop. Plus, you'll see no fancy editing or text insertions or, like direct shots from your video. You made it. I'm sure you remember what's in it. Um, I did want to address a couple of things that I saw in your video. Um, that I believe are just absolutely wrong, and I certainly would welcome an exchange back and forth on this topic, because you seem very resolute in what you believe, and I am as well. I think we can have an interesting conversation. I am no scientist of any kind. I'm actually just now pursuing my associate's degree in web design. Um, no big scientific background, though. The evolution versus creationism debate has certainly been a big interest for me. If you look at my other videos, they're all based on responses to some of Kent Hovind's work. Um, and right there in my name, atheist. That's just who I am. I actually consider myself one of the militant Richard Dawkins atheists. Um, but anyway, on to it. Where to start? Where to start? Okay, I'll start with the big one for me, which is your idea that consciousness is immaterial. This is just not correct. Consciousness is the result of electrical activity in your brain. Electrical activity in your brain are physical. Now, we could certainly get into a long philosophical debate on what exactly the nature of consciousness is, but bottom line is, it is not an immortal, eternal soul. It is the result of electrical activity and thought processes in your brain, which is physical and operates under natural laws. Your analogy of a rock falling off a cliff and killing someone, I'd like to address that for a moment. Um, the rock falling off a cliff and killing someone, the rock didn't choose anything, so of course it can't be evil or good. The rock was responding to the natural law of gravity. Gravity acted on it enough, and it no longer was supported, or fell off a larger rock or whatever, falls and kills a person. The rock is not evil. Evil and good are largely based on a decision made in one's brain. For instance, the act of killing. Now, some would argue that there can be good killing. For example, if my family is being attacked and I am left with no other option rather than to respond in kind and kill the attacker, then one could make the argument that I had made a good decision. Now, if I decide to go to my neighbor's house because I don't like him and shoot him in the face because I don't like him, then I have made a choice to take another person's life, and I believe that choice is evil. Which leads us very well into the free will moral obligation. Now, free will is also not immaterial. Free will is a part of your consciousness. Free will is only your ability to choose what action you will take. We all have this. Most of us have this anyway. We have this because we have a consciousness. That consciousness, at present, as far as we know, the most highly evolved on the planet, gives us the ability to contemplate the outcome of any given action. Will this be good? Will this be bad? What will happen? What will be the result? That's what consciousness is. It's awareness. Awareness of yourself and of your impact on other people. And again, that consciousness is based on the electrical activity in your physical brain. It is not immaterial. It is not supernatural. It is not eternal. It is my contention that being based on the physicality of your brain and on natural laws, that when you die, and that electrical activity goes away, so does your consciousness. Now, I know a lot of people find comfort in the idea that your eternal soul will live on, and that there's a God that cares about us, and He's going to judge us, and, we'll be rewarded if we're good, and punished if we're naughty, and all that fun stuff. But as far as science can tell, as far as anybody can really tell, that's just not the case. Your consciousness, being based on your brain, dies when your brain dies. It's the only logical conclusion. Now, the free will, like I said, is a part of that consciousness. So I also wanted to touch on moral obligation. Now, you say that we are all just pretty much big bags of complex chemicals that are reacting. To a large extent, sir, you are correct. That there are, I'm sure they're not countless, but there are many, many chemical reactions going on, even right now. I'm transferring, my thoughts, my consciousness, sending a signal down chemically, electrochemically, I guess, down to my larynx, to my mouth, to my tongue, even negotiating my fake teeth and communicating with you. That's just one thing that's going on right now, not to count all the other, automatic processes that are going on. So we are very large bags of complex chemical reactions. But we're not just that. One of those reactions, the electrochemical reaction in your brain, gives us the ability to think, to rationalize, to see ourselves objectively, to see others objectively. Moral obligation. And I have to agree that I don't like the term moral obligation, and I'll tell you why. Obligation implies that there is someone or something to whom we are obligated to be moral. This is not, in my opinion, the case. There are objective reasons that I can explain for good and evil. For instance, the act of just wanton killing or rape, theft. How to best explain this? These are moral concepts that have evolved in us, both genetically and culturally. Somebody a very long time ago figured out that if we all just kill each other and take everybody's stuff, then we're not going to make it. Not as a person and not as a people. You just can't survive that way. Someone figured out that it would be advantageous for us to not kill people, to not rape or steal or do these things. Now, of course, these things still happen. But what also happens is someone who chooses to go murder or rape is exercising their free will. But the rest of society has the ability to exercise their free will and punish that person in whatever way that society deems appropriate. As a result of that, this moral obligation that you speak of, it's more an obligation to other people. And the real obligation comes on the rest of society and how we deal with these kinds of people taking these kinds of actions. Now, like I said, I completely contend that there is no supernatural source for right and wrong. Right and wrong are in themselves subjective. It depends on the person, or it depends on the situation, what side of it you happen to be on. For example, I believe it's wrong to kill, wrong to rape, wrong to own slaves, wrong to be homophobic, wrong to discriminate on the basis of color. I believe these things because in my worldview, doing harm to another person is wrong. I don't need God to tell me that. I don't need the Bible to tell me that. I don't need the Quran or Foo or Isis and Zeus. I don't need a supernatural source to tell me that killing people is wrong. Now, why do I believe that? Because right and wrong, in this context anyway, is relative to the good of the species and the person. If we just kill a whole bunch of people, then there won't be people. And we need each other to survive. I mean, of course the argument's, been put forth, this pen is just a simple pen, right? But one person couldn't make it. Couldn't make it. Even, well, you know what a pencil looks like. I was looking for my bag of pencils. But even a pencil, and I know you've heard this argument somewhere, but I'll restate it. We need each other for even the most basic parts of our existence. I mean, sure, I can take this pen apart and put it back together, but I don't know how to mine the metal for this tip. I don't know how to cultivate the rubber that goes on the grip. I don't know how to get oil out of the ground and turn it into plastic. And I couldn't tell you where the ink comes from. That takes hundreds of people. Countless people went into the production of this simple writing instrument. The spring, for example, in that. How many people do you think it takes to mine the metal, fabricate it, refine it? Not in that order, of course, but you see what I'm saying? Right and wrong is based on the outcome, based on the results. My father calls it common sense. My assertion here, my point, and I'll wrap this up because I do tend to ramble, is that this is not supernatural. You can know right and wrong without God, without the Bible, without an outside force. Now, I've watched some of your other videos. While I do believe there are a great deal of logical fallacies in the videos, it's clear that they are well thought out, that you put a great deal of effort into the editing and all that. I actually do enjoy your work, debating on whether or not to be a subscriber. I don't know if that shows too much support when I don't really support your beliefs. But I sincerely hope that you approve this, put it on your page, and I would love to hear your response, especially to the consciousness being a physical thing, a manifestation of physical processes that work under natural law. Either way, thanks for listening, and I will certainly be watching for some more fun videos, and I sincerely hope to hear from you on this. Once forgiven, now free. Best of luck.